Hi, everyone. We'll just start in a couple minutes. Thank you for joining us. We'll hold just for a few more moments just to see if anyone else is running late. Adds in. All right, let's get started, shall we? Thank you for waiting, everyone. Uh, hi, hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar. And today we're going to be talking about our home cloud mesh Wi-Fi solution. I'm Cody. I'm a marketing specialist here at QNAP, and I'm here with our product manager, Deval.
Good morning, everybody.
And today we're going to be discussing some of the advantages of installing a home cloud mesh Wi-Fi solution. So taking a look at the agenda here, we'll start things off by giving you a brief introduction to the QMiroPlus router. We'll go more into detail about some of these features, starting with how you can best utilize mesh Wi-Fi in your home or business. And then we'll talk about deploying a home cloud on the QMiroPlus. And then after that, Deval will be demoing the QMiroPlus for us, and at the end, we'll have a Q&A time. So any questions you might have throughout this presentation, you can go ahead and ask us at the end. All right, so the QMiro routers are our new mesh Wi-Fi routers. And these are tri-band mesh routers to provide excellent performance and broader access to the network over Wi-Fi. Additionally, the QMiroPlus servers serve as your own private cloud. We refer to the QMiroPlus as a home cloud router because it includes drive bays that you can populate with drives, as well as complete network attached storage software. So this is essentially your NAS and router rolled into one unit, and the QMiroPlus supports sd-wan as well for more secure connections between various remote networks. So what is mesh Wi-Fi? Mesh Wi-Fi is a Wi-Fi technology that involves deploying multiple nodes throughout a particular space, such as your home or office. And what it accomplishes is it provides you with a wider Wi-Fi coverage. So if you're in a larger space or you have particularly disruptive walls to your Wi-Fi signal where you are, you may experience times when your Wi-Fi signal is weak or even cuts out entirely. By placing additional mesh Wi-Fi nodes throughout, you're able to provide additional access points and a better overall coverage. So who will benefit most from setting up a Wi-Fi router, a mesh Wi-Fi router in their home? Typically, as you would imagine, people with larger houses or living spaces will be served best by mesh Wi-Fi, especially if your home is 2 or more stories. In some cases, you may be able to simply find a more centralized location for your router to reach all of those areas from which you would like to access the internet. But oftentimes, you'll need to extend your Wi-Fi signal's reach. So in this case, mesh Wi-Fi routers are an excellent solution to provide access points throughout your home. Some people may use Wi-Fi extenders to extend the length of a Wi-Fi signal, but these need to resend the signal from the original router and may have a weaker signal than if you have the mesh router set up. Additionally, if you have numerous devices accessing the Wi-Fi simultaneously, the mesh routers will handle this with less network congestion, and you don't have to bother switching between networks as well. If you're moving from one area to another, the connection will be the same name throughout the various access points. So you won't have to select your router's name with the extension and have that whole debacle. And so mesh Wi-Fi is also well suited for the business space, especially in large office buildings with multiple floors. The ability to handle numerous users throughout a vast space makes your employees' Wi-Fi connections simple and efficient, and just a good all-around solution. And the QMiroPlus combines, as we've said, a home cloud solution with your router. So one of the most unique and defining features of the QMiroPlus is that it also includes drive bays and network attached storage software with the router. So not only can you set up a robust mesh Wi-Fi network in your home or office, you also have your own private cloud and mini server. In a sense, this can be great for file sharing among colleagues, as well as remote access to your data. And so there are a number of added applications that come with being a home cloud router. You can make automated backups to public cloud services, external drives, and other servers. We consolidate these backup features in the Hybrid Backup Sync app. You can also use the home cloud as a sort of local cache for public cloud storage using the hybrid mount feature. This increases local access speeds, reduces network traffic to the cloud, and can cut cloud access costs. The NAS functionality also includes media server capabilities to stream your various media content and can be used as a Plex server. There are also mobile apps available to facilitate backing up your photos and video content to the home cloud. So there's a lot you can do with a QMiroPlus beyond just the router functionality. So QMiroPlus also serves as a great SD-WAN solution. This is well suited for those with businesses spanning multiple locations and with those who have numerous remote employees. The SD-WAN securely connects your remote networks and simplifying the new remote landscape to help teams securely collaborate and function as efficiently as possible. And so Deval's going to help us out by showing us a demo, and we're gonna get a more hands-on look at what this looks like. Thank you, Deval.
Thank you very much, Cody. Let me change my presentation. All right, so good morning, everybody. My name is Dhaval. I'm the product manager here at QNAP. So today I'm going to show you a demo for our QMiro Plus and QMiro routers. Now QMiro again is a router that supports mesh Wi-Fi networking that allows you to have add more nodes whenever you need it. So you can start with one single pack. It's not so you don't necessarily need to buy multiple QMiros at the same time. You just can buy one router at a time, and then you can just connect that to your network, and you can start using that as your main router. Now, in case if you have a larger home and you require more coverage, and coverage is or certain locations like your bedroom, or if it's a business, maybe a marketing room or another room that has low or no connectivity, you can actually connect a QMiro node, which is, again, you can just buy another router and then just connect. You can use that as a node, and then once you set up as a node, the Wi-Fi will be extended. There's no need to change your SSID, so you don't on your phones or your laptops. You don't need to change your Wi-Fi wireless names to another wireless name or another SSID. As long as you are connected to your main SSID, and the phones or computers will automatically switch to the best to QMiro, which has the best Wi-Fi coverage for that particular device. Now that's for QMiro. So you can actually just use QMiro, and it's just a basic router that the QMiro has, and then you can start with one router and then add nodes as when you need it. So this is just basically a single router that you can get, and it has tri-band Wi-Fi. So it has 2.4 gigahertz. So all your older devices, all your IoT devices will still be connected without any problems. It also has 5 gigahertz for passive connections, for high-speed connections, but at a smaller coverage. And it has another band. It's a dedicated 5 gigahertz band, because when you have the third band will be able to communicate. So the third band, the QMiro will use it to communicate to each other. So it doesn't interfere with your 5 gigahertz band. So the third band is specifically dedicated for backhaul speeds. So whenever you transfer data to using your 5 gigahertz band on your phone, and then the QMiro is acting as a node and it needs to communicate to the main node. So what the QMiro will do is QMiro will use the third 5 gigahertz band, or the third band, to communicate to the second QMiro. So, and it's on its own separate channel. Everything is so there's no interference, and also it doesn't interfere with your 5 gigahertz band. So the third band helps to communicate to two nodes to each other, and without interfering with your band. So that's a great feature that QMiro has. And again, so in this picture, as long as you just install QMiro at the main location, as long as it has enough Wi-Fi coverage from the main router, it will just extend your router into QMiro. And again, as I was mentioning, it has a third band for communicating to each other, which is a green bar, and then the blue bar, which is communicating to the client devices without sharing the band. So it's on its own separate band. Whereas on current routers that are being sold on the market, they share the 5 gigahertz band. So using the same band to communicate with your client devices, as well as the same band will be used to communicate to each other. So that slows down the network connectivity. Now, we do have a new Q Router OS. It also has an application on your phones, on your iPhone, Android phones. You can install that, and everything is set up through the phone. You just have to be next to your QMiro device, and then just connect it and click on Add New Device, and it'll give you step-by-step instruction how to plug in the power, where to plug in the network cable, and everything is done step by step. You don't need to touch a computer to set up a QMiro device. As long as you have a phone and the QMiro next to you, you can start using that with your device. Again, it also supports our SD-WAN technology. So if you have multiple sites and you have multiple QMiro devices, actually you don't need to have multiple QMiro devices on each site. As long as you have, because SD-WAN can be supported on a QHORA router, on a NAS, as well as on QMiro. So let's say if you have, for example, at your home, you have a QMiro router. maybe in your office you have a QHORA router, and then your headquarters you have a high-speed 10 GB NAS. So you can actually have these on a single SD-WAN technology, and they can all be in a single network using VPN using VPN technology, using SD-WAN basically. And it's a VPN technology. It's very secure, and the QMiro will know which traffic is for your office and which traffic is for your home. So the traffic that is meant for the office will only be used for SD-WAN. Let's say if you're trying to copy a file from your office network, QMiro will use the VPN for that traffic. But if let's say if you're also watching a Netflix video, it won't use VPN for that. It will actually just connect directly to the internet to get the Netflix traffic. But for your office network, it will use the SD-WAN technology. Very smart to use as well. Again, it's very easy to use setup, and that's for QMiro. We also have another device called QMiroPlus. It's actually it's a very smart device that's not available in the market, or I haven't seen that yet. It's a very smart device which has two 2.5 inch base, and it comes with a NAS built in. So it has a QTS operating system that is built into the router, and it actually has two different processors. So if you look at the specification sheet, it has two different processors. It has one for Qualcomm, which is for your QMiro. So it's actually basically a QMiro built in. So all our QMiro devices are Qualcomm IPQ 4019 quad-core processor. So that's for the router part. But we also have the NAS part, right? The NAS part actually uses an Intel Gemini Lake 4125 4-core processor. It's actually a very good, very powerful processor that actually can be used for streaming for your personal cloud. It has more than enough connectivity. It's actually comparable to our TS 253 or 251D, those NASs. It's actually integrated within the router itself, and it has 4 GHz NAS RAM, and it has a separate 512 megabits for DDR3 for router itself. So it has enough memory as well as NAS for running your NAS functionality as well as your router functionality. And it's actually built into the single device. So if you look at the feature set, it actually has the QTS. So everything I talked about QMiro is all available here. The addition of having the QMiro functionality, it can also act as your router. So as I mentioned, it supports QTS operating system. So it can be your again, it can be your personal cloud device. So you can actually use hybrid backup sync to sync between devices. You can use QSync. You can also run all these applications to connect to your cloud. So if you have cloud data connected, you can actually connect that to your QMiro. It can also be a storage for your photos because it has an Intel J41 processor. It actually can be a great multimedia storage device. You can use QMaggie to do AI recognition for your photos, videos. You can stream videos to your family and friends. You can use Plex with it. Again, all these functionalities are all within the QMiroPlus device. Now, enough of the presentation. I'm gonna go with the demo. So I have a QMiroPlus setup. So whatever I show you for the QMiro, the router functionality will remain the same for QMiro, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But once you, so when you open up QFinder, you will see a QMiro NAS, a QMiro router, and I also have added a node. So you will see a node right here as well. So if I double click on the NAS part, so it will actually open up a NAS page. So you have the NAS page open up, and if you're actually familiar with a QNAP device, it's actually the same function. It's the same interface. So it's actually everything remains the same. You don't have to. There's no learning curve about how to install applications, how to use applications. Everything is actually very similar to what you're used to with a QNAP NAS. So you see all your functionality like control panel. Everything else remains the same. You can create multiple users for your NAS functionalities. You can see your shared folders. You can create shared folders. If you go to storage and snapshots, you can create a RAID because it has, sorry about that, because it has two disks. It's a 2.5 inch disk, so you can actually use SSDs or 2.5 inch hard drives. I would recommend SSDs. And if you go to storage and snapshot, you can create RAID volumes on top of that, and then you can create a volume, and then you can start storing data within the QMiro. So if you open up file station, you can see I have I can create shared folders. I can copy paste data to it. If you look at the App Center, you will see all the install applications that you can install for QMiro. And then again, if you see all applications, you'll see a bunch of applications that you can actually run on top of QMiro. You can run container stations, so you can run Dockers on top of that. You can run hybrid backup sync to back up your data to the cloud. You can run multimedia add-ons, so you can actually stream video off of the QNAP itself. You can run Plex server on top of that. Again, a whole bunch of applications that you can actually run on QMiro. QMiro can also be your again, so you can run QBR as well. So you can actually run surveillance applications. So you have QBR Elite, so you can, which comes with 2 free licenses for recording 2 cameras. So you can actually record cameras on your router. Again, I haven't seen any other router manufacturer that gives you all these functionalities within the router. So, and again, your router does have a USB port, but with QMiroPlus, it has a USB port, but that USB port has more functionality to it. So if I look at if I have plugged in a USB flash drive on the back of the NAS, I can use that. So it's a USB flash drive. I copied some data. Actually, I can use it as an SMB file. It's a regular file share. So I can actually connect to a server. I can just put in SMB, the IP address for my QMiro router, and I think I may have. Yeah, so I can actually use it as an AFP, SMB, NFS share. It's actually disabled right here. That's why. Yeah, so I can use it in an AFP, SMB, or NFS share. I can access all these data through that, so that I can actually act as a file server without having to buy another NAS device. So you're actually buying the router. So the NAS and router are built into one single device, and you can use it. So you don't need to have 2 separate devices doing 2 different things. If you want a NAS functionality, you can actually just purchase a QMiroPlus, and it will actually be a NAS plus it will be a router as well. So once I've enabled that, if I look at if I go to connect to share, SMB, see connect, and then I can just put in the username password for my NAS, and I can connect to that share. Click OK. I can connect to that share. I can copy paste data. This is using SMB. And you can also use AFP as well. And all these functionalities are available on QMiroPlus. QMiro can also support AFP, so it can now act as your time machine backup as well. So if you have a Mac computers, you can actually use it as your time machine backup. If you have Android or Apple phones, you can install QFile and automatically back up all your photos, videos that you have taken while you're traveling directly on your QMiroPlus router. Again, all these functionalities available on QMiro Plus. And now, so that's the NAS functionality. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit about the router functionality, because that's mainly it's a router. So you have a new application called QRouter. This is specifically for QMiroPlus only. You won't be able to find this on another NAS device or QNAP NAS device. So if you open up this application, it basically takes you to your routers page. Now all these. Now I'm going to stop here just to explain a little bit more. Whatever feature I'm going to show you right now is basically for the router part of this QMiroPlus. And then if you buy a QMiro only, all these features that I'm going to talk about now is also going to be the same exact feature that you're going to be finding on QMiro. So if you buy just a QMiro itself, the functionality I'm going to talk about here, it's going to remain with. It's going to be the same exact feature set you're going to get if you buy just QMiro. So this is just the router functionality part of it, right? So when you log into it, you're going to see your dashboard. Even if you log into QMiro, regular QMiro, you just have to type 192.168. So if you just have a regular QMiro, not a QMiroPlus, so just type this. Enter. It's going to take you to a router page. So this will be a router. This is what you're going to be seeing when you log into QMiro itself. So here, because you have a plus, it's going to ask you to, it's going to recommend you to go to QTS, so which is this page, or you can stay at QMiro routers. You can log in right here, and this is what you're going to be seeing when you log into QMiro. So it's the exact same page right here. What you see right here, the same exact page. So in the dashboard, it's going to give you just all the information about how your router is going, your router's health, if you have any firmware updates available, how many clients are connected to it, your WAN IP address, your wireless status information. All of this information is all plugged in right here. Everything is showing up right here itself. You can go to QUWAN. QUWAN again will allow you to join to, because I don't have it connected to my public IP address. That's the reason I got that error message. You need to have a public IP address if it's your first device in your SD-WAN. So you can use it with your SD-WAN network. You can see when you click clients, you're going to be able to see how many clients are connected to your QMiro. You can quickly block them right here as well if you like to. You can get more information about what's going on with your. You can also change the name of that particular device that's connecting to your QMiro network. Just WAN information just gives you information about the WAN speeds, what WAN IP address. LAN information just allows you to change your LAN's IP address. You can also do reserve IP address, get enable, disable DHCP server. You can also set up your routing table right here. You can also set up static routing. Wireless, just set up your wireless network right here itself. So you can set up your wireless name, your security. You can also do smart connect. So your 2.5 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz in a single SSID. And the QMiro is smart enough to understand which devices that is connecting. That's connecting to it is 2.4 gigahertz, so it will actually dedicate 2.4 gigahertz band to that device. And if it's a newer device, that is maybe a new phone or maybe just an iPhone or Android phone from the last few years, it supports 5 gigahertz. So QMiro will dedicate 5 gigahertz when it connects to it. Now, if you don't want that functionality, you can actually disable that, and you will see your 5 gigahertz band and 2.5 gigahertz band in a separate sorry about that. So yeah, it will be separated. So you have to actually provide them different SSIDs. So it could be 2.5 gigahertz band will have a separate SSID, 5 gigahertz band will have a separate SSID as well. So you just have to enable the. So Smart Connect allows you to have one SSID for all these bands, and the QNAP will decide which device can connect to what band. And QNAP will know that newer devices are 5 gigahertz and will dedicate 5 gigahertz band to it. You can also set up a security password for that router. You can also set up scheduler, so you can actually enable scheduler, and the Wi-Fi will be off during certain hours and days. So if you have kids that you don't want them to access internet after a certain time, you can actually disable wireless connection completely. You can also do information, like you can also change your band information channel automatically. You can also manually select the channel that it connects to. Now it supports 80 gigahertz on 5 gigahertz band, and 2.4 it will support 40 megahertz band. Sorry, 80 megahertz on 5G band, and then 2.5G would be 20 megahertz band. Okay, so all of that. You can also set up a guest networking as well. So whenever a guest, you can just have them connect to their own separate network. So it's separated to your main network. You can also set up WPS button. So there's a button in the front of the NAS. You press and hold it for a certain amount of seconds, and go to your client device, and it will automatically connect to your Wi-Fi network. You can enable that or disable that if you like to. So that's your wireless. NAT just allows you to have port forwarding information. You also have now DMZ zone. So you can actually have all the ports forwarded to a certain IP address as well. You can also set up UPnP. So you can actually set up UPnP and then select the WAN interface, and QNAP will automatically open up ports for client devices that are requesting to open the port. Now, service management is where you're going to be. So if you want to, let's say if you want to open up a port, for example, if you want to open up a port for your Plex server, so you just enter Plex. I think Plex uses 32400 port, and just save. So once you enter that, I think I have, because I have my public IP address is having some issue. Once you select that service, you go to NAP and then go to port forwarding and add a rule, and you can select that service, and then we'll actually, and then you can actually open the port on the router. You can also under DDNS, you can also set up DDNS services. It also supports QVPN server. So QNAP, the QMiro router can act as your QMiro, as your VPN server. So it will create a VPN network for you, and then or you can connect to your whenever you're traveling, you can actually connect your QMiro using VPN and access all your local devices using the VPN connection. User management, you have to actually create a user specifically to access the VPN as well. QVPN client, QMiro can also connect to a VPN server at a different location. So if you have, let's say if you want your whole network to be under another VPN network, you can actually just connect your QMiro router to that VPN server, and all your devices within the QMiro will all be connected within that QMiro. So within that VPN server. The parental controls gives you access to parental control. You can actually enable website filters, so all these websites you won't be able to they won't be able to access website. You can also enable safe search, so all the editorial contents can be blocked for certain devices itself. So you can also do that under system, just operation mode. You can actually use QMiro as your router itself, or you can use it as an access point. If you have another router, you can use QMiro as an access point with its own SSID. Event log just gives you information about the events going on with your QMiro router. System settings, just restart, reboot your router itself. So your router can be rebooted using these options right here. You can also change your router name as well. Access control just gives you information about your access, what username you can change username password as well right here, and then you can update firmware using the firmware page. So this is how you can use QMiro router itself using QNAP, QMiro, and QMiroPlus. All right, back to you, Cody.
All right, thank you, Val. All right, so at this time, we'd be happy to take your guys' questions. I see a few of them up already, and yeah, so just anything regarding the webinar and QMiro, please just let us know in the question section. You can just type them in there, and we'll be answering those for you.
I think we have a few questions about a few questions right here. We have first question is, any chance there will be integration for Wi-Fi 6? Right now, the QMiro only supports Wi-Fi 5. It doesn't support Wi-Fi 6. So the AX, 802AX. Unfortunately, right now there's no plan as of yet for QMiro to be able to support Wi-Fi 6. We have QHora router that supports Wi-Fi 6, but it doesn't support mesh Wi-Fi networking. We'll have few new versions of QMiro in the future, but as of yet, there's no plan or any ETA for Wi-Fi 6 availability for QMiro. So it's Wi-Fi 5 only. Another question from John is, can you copy to and from an iOS device? So if you're using an example of QMiroPlus, yes, you can copy off of an iOS device. You can use QFile application using so you can use QFile on your phone. You can just copy and paste data from your iPhone to the QMiroPlus router, and you can also download data to QMiroPlus router. Also, John, what you can actually do is QFile can automatically you can also set up an automatic uploads as well. Whenever you take a new picture or video from your phone, QNAP can automatically put that data into QMiroPlus as a backup itself. So again, that's a great functionality that QMiro can help you to achieve that as well. Third question is, can you use VPN Can you use VPN as a general purpose? Can you use VPN as a general purpose VPN connections to websites? There's no reason to have VPN to connect to websites. If you're comparing it to all these VPN services available, like private internet access or there are many other connections, it is basically to hide your IP address using the VPN server, right? So you connect to all these services that are available on the third, but you can actually choose which country you want to join as, and let's say you choose. You can also select cities as well. So let's say you're in Los Angeles and you use private internet connection to connect to Las Vegas. Your VPN traffic or your internet traffic will route through Vegas and then will go to the destination website. Basically, that's masking the IP address. But when you use QNAP as your VPN server, it's not going to do that. It's actually going to use your public IP address. So you're basically using your own IP address to browse through the website. The reason to have VPN server available on QNAP devices is, or on your QNAP NAS, or even on your QNAP QMiro router, is to connect to all these local devices. Now, let's say if you have a lot of Windows desktop. I can give you an example of enterprise. Like they have a lot of Windows desktops and they want to do an RDP. So instead of having opening ports for each of the RDP or remote desktop computers, they can just use the VPN server and connect to QMiro as the VPN using the VPN server functionality, and they can access all these Windows desktops without having to open ports. So that's another great feature with QVPN server. That's mainly used just making sure you can access your local devices on your VPN service. So that's mainly used for VPN. That's how VPN is used on QMiro. Are there larger storage devices, more disk for QMiroPlus? As of yet, there's no plan. But what it can actually do is it does have USB port on the back. You can actually connect a TR004 or 004U to add more disks or add more storage to QMiro, and then you can use that as additional storage devices using QMiro and add more data to your QMiro. We have a question is, if I already have a QNAP storage device, what product would I use as just a router? Now, so if you have two devices, you have your QMiro regular, which is just a router that can actually just connect to your network, and then the TS231 will just be a NAS device. Or you can use QHORA. Now, QMiro again gives you mesh functionality. So if you have a larger home and you want multiple routers to provide more coverage, then QMiro is a great fit because you can install one QMiro as your router, and another QMiro will be a node. And or you can actually, if you don't have a larger device and your single router can cover your whole location or your whole site, you can actually use QHORA, which is a Wi-Fi 6 router, and connect, and then you can connect, and then that will provide Wi-Fi coverage for the whole home. But it doesn't support nodes, so you cannot add multiple nodes. And I think I've missed over one functionality. I'm going to take over, just quickly demo that as well. So right here, you can actually click on QMiro devices, and also it gives you information about what devices are connected to what. So this is my main router. I also have a node connected to it, which is in my office, and this will give you information about how many devices are connected to my node, what's my upload speed and download speed for my node itself. If the device is online, what's my Wi-Fi speeds for that, the wireless. Sorry, the firmware version. You can also go to settings. You can restart the node itself. You can remove the node. You can also just start the node from here as well. And then you can, let's say if you want to add another node, there's no limit on how many nodes you can add. You can actually add like 10 nodes as well. If you have a very large location, maybe a huge warehouse, you can actually add multiple nodes, and they will all communicate to each other, and no problem. To add a node, just click on add a node. You can just connect the cable on the back for QMiro, and then see there it found a node. I think it's another mesh device already. So you can, once it finds a node, hit next. That is it. We'll start adding the node. There's no configuration needed. Everything is done automatically. It will all configure that node automatically, and it will extend your Wi-Fi automatically. If all happens automatically, you don't need to connect anything to that. So that's how you can actually add nodes And this is how you can get information about the nodes as well. All right. Any further questions you guys have before we end the session for today?
All right. If that is all, we will keep your eyes open in your emails. We'll be sending a follow-up, and we'll have a link to the video of this if you wanted to, because we'll be posting this up on YouTube in a little bit. So if you want to review anything that you saw here, we'll have that available shortly as well. And I would want to just thank you guys for joining us. And
in the session, we have another question.
oh, is there another? Oh, okay.
No, sorry about that. There's a question called, can you run an AV software? AV software, I'm not too sure about what, I would need more information, but AV software, you can run video station, audio, music station, and photo station to run, to organize your media that you have stored on the QNAP device. Or you can use a Plex server, media server, to act as your media server itself. And then Plex does have the ability to connect an antenna to it, and then you can start recording your over-the-air channels. So you can, that could be your AV software if that's what you're referring to, maybe. So that's the functionality I have, or we have with QMiroPlus, and using NAS functionality. So when you log into the NAS, you can run all these multimedia applications as well as Plex application to run as an AV kind of audiovisual software itself. Oh, antivirus. Okay. Antivirus, yes, we have antivirus available from McAfee. It's a third-party software that you can actually use with QMiroPlus. Now, not the regular QMiro, because that's just router, so it doesn't require antivirus. But with QMiroPlus, we have McAfee software that is available as a paid application. We also have free application available within the control panel that you can actually also run as. You can also use that as your antivirus software. I think yeah, so that's the functionality we have for antivirus. And the free one that is available in the control panel is from QNAP. So we have QNAP software that's available for free, and then you can purchase McAfee license if you want to have a paid option as well. So multiple options to run as your antivirus software itself. Hopefully that answers your question.
All right. Were there any other questions? Let's see.
Can you run your own antivirus software? Not with QMiroPlus or even on a QNAP NAS. So you will have to actually choose one of the two available, QNAP or McAfee for now.
All right. Well, if that is all, once again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, everybody.